€42,800. Everybody happy that's our gross salary? Okay. Now, our gross salary is made up of 42,800. And it gets taxed in two different brackets. Are you happy enough with that? So that 42,800 gets broken up into two sections. It gets broken up into what's called the standard rate cutoff. This first €31,000, it gets taxed at 20%. You okay with that? How much money do we make above 31,800? Yep, happy days. And that's taxed at 40%. Okay, so you write down 42, thank you so much. So you're going to do two things, okay? The first thing you're going to do is you're going to multiply it by okay, so can you multiply that for me now? So tax at 20%. I want you to get 20% of 31 grand. BG, would you try that out on your calculator? 31,000 multiplied by 20%. Okay. Can somebody give me an answer for that? 6,000? 6,200 is the correct answer for that one. Okay. Now, next thing we're going to do is we're going to do the tax of 42%. Tax of 42%, guys. Can you do 11,800 multiplied by 42%? What? 4,956. Okay. Now, this is how much tax you're meant to pay the government. So add the two of them together and tell me what my gross tax is. How much money am I meant to give the government? Add the two of them together. Yeah, and add it to the 4,956. Use your calculator, come on. It's not, yeah, 11,156 is your gross tax, okay? Okay, guys, gross tax. Now, what we're going to do next is tax credit. Tax credit is how much tax we don't have to pay the government. So how much tax do we not have to pay the government? 3,350. We're meant to pay them 11,156, but we're not going to pay 3,350 of it. And this is what's called income tax, or sometimes it's called net tax. So take them away from each other. 7,806. And if we were asked our take home pay, what would we say? How much money we get to take home? We have our 42,800. However, 7,806 of that is going to go missing. 34,994. 34,994. Here's what I'm taking of, alright? So the deal is, yeah. So bottom line is, including the VAT, if I want that games console, I'm going to pay €484. So what we're going to do is we're going to multiply it by 22.5%, and then we're going to subtract it to give us our discount.
No, is it not because
yeah, okay, so let me cook. Okay, so what you get for the 22.5%? Okay, take that away from the price. €375 and 0.1, is it? Okay. Now, okay, that's that done. Store B says that will not charge VAT. So in that case, Store B was charging it at 121%. How do I know it's 121%? Because they added on the extra 21 already. So what I want us to do is, would you all agree it should be cheaper than 484? If the VAT wasn't added, it's cheaper than 484, right? So divide that by 121, and what you get? 585. Is it 585? Goes in 4 times. And then 100% will be 100 times bigger. So multiply it by 100. What do we get? 400. So, yeah, because 1% is €4, which means 100% is €400. Now, I think that means I'm right. The €400 take away it, option B costs €400. Option A costs €375 and 10 cents. Take them away from each other. Option A is cheaper by €24 and 90 cents. Is that all right? Okay, guys, here we go. You ready? Shh. Starting. Okay, guys. On page, so when you get one of these questions, okay, what I want you to do is I want you to go to page 30, okay? And on page 30, you'll see all this information here, okay? And on the top right-hand side, it says that you put 8%. See 8%? 8% is expressed as a decimal 0.08. So if you get 5%, you have to express it as 0.05. Is that all right? So you go to this on page 30 of your tables, okay? So guys, we're going to change that to 7%. So it's 3,500. So I look up my formula, okay? My formula is my F value equals my P value 1 plus I to the power T. We okay with that? Your I value is 7%, which means you have to write it as 0.07. You follow the formula. P is how much you invest. It's 3,500. It's 1 plus 0.07. It's the power T. How many years did we do it for? 3 years. Put all that into your calculator. Off you go. You throw it in for me, please. Do this again. F is your final value. P is the value you invested. You invested €3,500. You did it for an extra 7% a year. That's where I got the put. So you do 3,500 outside the bracket. Inside the bracket, you put the 1 and the plus the interest amount, which is 0.07, because it's 7%, and you do it to the power 3. 4,287.5. Well done, all right? I'm going to ask you another one now, all right? €5,000. You do 5 grand, yeah? And you do it at 4% for 5 years. Okay? And once again, you're going to do that formula. F equals P, 1 plus I to the power T. Will you give that a go? 5,000, yeah. 1 plus 0.04, yeah. To power 5. And that'll tell you how much. If you add on 4% for 5 years in a row, it'll tell you how much it comes to. 6,083.26. 5 years. See the way it's in the T section. See the way I replaced T with 5? I replaced I with 0.04. Time. How long did I invest it for? Okay. So we all agree that F equals P 1 plus I to the power of T. Are we all on board with that? Okay. Now, here's what I want to get from you, okay? We're just going to talk about the second year. At the end of the second year, we had this much money. Agreed? So your final amount was €5,342.40. What we want to find out is what is the principal, the P value. Now, what's 1 plus I, guys? What's the I value for the second year? The I value was 6%. So do you all agree it's 0.0? And when you add 1 to that, you're going to get 1 point. 1 point what, guys? 0.6. Do you know what I'm thinking, guys? I'm thinking we'd be better off just using this formula here. Do you see the second formula? See the way it gets the P value on its own? So you don't even need to think much. You just need to do it like this. So you're going to get the P value on its own. Let's try this formula instead. because you want the present value before the money was added on. So let's try it this way. How much money you invested? No, that's not how much money you invested though. Uh, but you know your final amount is, see that? That's your final amount. What's your one value? Is 1. What's your I value? Which is? So 0.0. How many years did we do it for? If we only did it from the start of year 2 to the end of year 2? No, the start of year 2 to the end of year 2. 1. Just 1, isn't it? Everybody put that in your calculator and you'll figure out how much we start off the year with. So, anybody else get that? What you get? 5,040, all right? So here's our timeline now. At the start of year 2, we had 5,040. It got 6% bigger and it turned into, you looking at the map on the board, guys? It turned into 5,342.40. Do you see that? Uh, Now, that means at the end of year 1, the end of year 1 is actually is the same as the start of year 2. See, if I ended year 1 with 5,040 euro, I'll start year 2 with 5,040. Do you know, like December 31st, 2025 is pretty much the same as January 1st, 2026. They're only one day apart, aren't they? The start of year 2 is the same as the end of year 1. You have the same amount of money. Listen, guys. Now, you mentioned you mentioned the initial amount, didn't you? You mentioned 4,000. That 4,800 had to turn into that 5,040. We multiplied it by some mystery number that we don't know, and that mystery number made it larger. So what I'm going to ask you guys to do now is to divide 5,040 by 4,800 to figure out how much, what number did we multiply it by to turn it into that. So what you get when you divide one by the other? Now, do you know what 1.05 represents? An extra 5%. 1.07 would represent an extra 7%. 1.17 would represent an extra 17%. Yeah. Yeah. Year 1 went up by 5% and year 2 went up by 6%. So the answer was 5% for year 1. We have a spinner, and this spinner, wherever you land, you win that much money. So you hand over the person €8 to play the game. Is that all right? Here's what you're going to do. So what we're going to write down is, what's the probability of getting a 0? How many sections are there? And they're all the same size, aren't they? Would you all agree with 2 out of 6? And what's the next one? €6, which is 2 out of €12 you can only get 1 out of. 15 is 1 out of 6. Now what I'm going to do is we're asked for something called the expected value. You're going to see this again. You multiply them by each other. So you multiply 0 by 2/6. You multiply 6 by 2/6. You multiply 12 by 1/6. And you multiply 15 by 1/6. So did you get 0 for the first one? Yeah. Next one? 2. Next one? 2. 2.5. Add all those numbers together. €6 and yeah. Now this is dodgy because you make less on average than the amount you put in. So on average, you lose €1 and 50. Here's the deal. You add the ratios together. So how many shares in total was there? 8 shares. Okay, you agreed that 8 shares to total. But I would be wrong if I said 8 shares equals 520. Why would I be wrong about that? So, perfect. So it's 2 shares Because B got 2 shares. So 2 shares is 520. What's 1 share then? Divided by 2. Right? 520 is 2 shares. 1 share would be half that, which is 260. To get the total shares, you add all the ratios together, which is 8 shares. So if I multiply that by 8, I'll figure out what the total prize fund was. No, the total prize fund. Yeah, and get 8 shares directly. I know what you're saying. It doesn't ask me specifically what A gets. It just wants the grand total. Yeah, no, I got you. You were going to multiply that by 5, and you were going to get 1300 for A. And then you're going to add the 1300 to the 520 to the 260 to get the full answer. It wants to know how much was the full prize fund, not what each individual person. And then multiply by 8 to get 8 shares. What's it multiply by 8? 2080. If I was asked for each individual person's share, A got 1300, B we already knew got 520, and C would have been 1 share, which was 260, something like that. Actually, guys, it's not 1300, was it? Nah, don't mind that. It wasn't 1300, it was 1100. Something's up there. Oh no, we're actually sorry, I'm wrong. It worked. Sorry, I'm just deluding myself. It worked. It is. I'll explain in a second. Okay, so the deal is, according to this question, euro is smaller than Australian dollars. Would you agree with that? €1, not smaller. They're equal to each other, but the deal is that $1.6 is the same as €1. Is that okay? Yeah, 160. Yeah, you're right. Now, long story short, if I have 100 quid Irish, that means I actually have 160 quid Australian. Is that all right? Would you all accept that the Australian number is always bigger than the euro number? Agreed? Great. $2,000, yeah? You have a choice. You can multiply by the exchange rate or you can divide by the exchange rate. Are you expecting a bigger or smaller number than 2,000 when you change it into Irish money? Bigger or smaller? Which one's the big one? Dollars is a bigger number than euro. So you're expecting a smaller answer for euro. So run both scenarios. Multiply 2000 by 1.6, get the answer. Then do 2000 divided by 1.6, get the answer. Whichever answer is smaller is the correct answer. So off you go. What happens? 1,250. That's perfect. That's the correct answer. The other answer was 3,200, and that's too large because we know €3,200 is not $2,000. We know that, don't we? Right. Now, how much money did they actually give us? They didn't give us 1,250. What did they give us? So, they took €25 out of the €1,250 they were meant to give us. So they took a percentage of our money. Because, yeah, people at the bank need money to do the work for it. So, put 25 divided by 1,250 and multiply by 100. Okay. We're done. Do you want me to try and explain it, Dara, to you?